Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
What's up, suckers? What's up, suckers? Welcome to the program. My name is Dean. Lachlan Cross is here from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Bonzi is here from Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
That's a story. Whatever. Flagstaff, somewhere around here. Are you in Flagstaff?
Somewhere.
Is that where you are? Flagstaff?
I'm in Arizona. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, you don't even know what's...
We don't want to actually let too many people know the exact location.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just in
We're
case
in
someone's
Arizona.
looking for you.
We'll get to that coming up. Because we got some man therapy today with Bonzi, which will be fun. I'm excited to talk to him. And my friend James DeFiore is here from blackballmedia.ca, pardon me, and Blackball the podcast, at James DeFiore on Twitter, at Bonzi Live on Twitter, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Hi, y'all, guys. How are we? How we feeling? How we doing? We all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got a
I'm not
busy
gonna
day
lie. I've been just going nonstop, and I feel agitated. You know what I mean? Like every time, like one thing, and then I got to do the next thing, and then I don't feel like I'm catching up.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a little like that lately.
Behind the eight ball? Are you a little behind the eight ball, so to speak?
I don't know if I do it to myself. I mean, let's be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in radio. There's nothing really important about anything I do.
Probably not.
So I've created this for myself. Anyway, I'm just being honest with you guys.
I appreciate that.
I thought we would start with a little therapy for Locke because we're going to tear Bonzi a new asshole here.
I messaged Locke after my show last night. I saw him watching, and so I texted him. I said, "Hey, what'd you think?" And crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets. And so then this morning I woke
didn't
up
know how to respond, Bonzi, because I'll be honest. I wasn't sure if my criticism was going to go over well, and I didn't want you going to bed on after having heard something negative from me in a text without context. Right?
So he's doing it on air live on the podcast.
Yeah,
I knew you would spin on it.
I woke up to, I've got thoughts. Can I share them on the pod today? So I was like, oh, fuck.
You don't have to ask, Bonzi. You can just do it.
No, that was Locke saying
that's
that's
asking Bonzi if it was
to
okay.
Chomsky. Yeah. Well, and let me just set the table here, right? We got a couple things going on today. I want to thank everybody for being here. Brought to you by our friends over at Ed's Fine Imports. Is GITCH, GITCH3 is your promo code. Go to Ed's Fine Imports today. Order a pair online. They'll send you a free pair. It's nice to do. Also, our friends at Domination, DMNTN.com. They love pho as much as Lachlan loves pho, and he's enjoying it right now.
Having some spicy noodle right now.
I see that. Yeah,
I try not to do that with the accent.
Big shout out to APOC. Just
that was pretty
honestly, this is so good.
Also, want to thank our friends at Domination, DMNTN.com. If you're looking to put out content, if you want to find an easy way to do it, try it for free, DMNTN.com. And of course, Easy Auto Financial, EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Get financing, get a car. These guys are turnkey. They're awesome. No obligation. Doesn't cost you a dime. Easy Auto.
That's what I need. More financing.
More financing. They'll do it for you. But
that's why I get so mad when people ask me for money. I am $500,000 in debt.
Yeah. But
you
we're
own
busy
more
today.
than I do right now, jackass. So no, I'm not giving you a couple of nickels for a fucking coffee.
Yeah, I feel the same way about everybody that asks me for money. That's why I don't leave the house, because that doesn't happen if I don't leave the house. But we got Kid Rock to talk about today. We got David Suzuki. I thought he was dead. Turns out he wants to blow some shit up. That's pretty cool.
I thought he was dead too.
We got 20 over 40 to get to because Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian look like they're having a blast. But more importantly, we thought we'd start this off with some man therapy for Bonzi, because what Lachlan is talking about is Bonzi over the last few days has had a real fucking ride. Now, if you're just joining this podcast and if you're just new to what we're doing, Greg Bond, my friend Bonzi, at Bonzi Live, took off several months ago, sold everything he owned in Canada, bought an RV, really beautiful tour bus. He's been driving around the United States, stopped in Palm Desert for a couple months, had to pull up stakes in the middle of the night and leave like a fucking shot in the dark. And all kinds of like drama. I was on the phone with him a couple days ago. He's like, someone's at my door. I'm like, you better fucking leave. So anyway, bring us up to speed on why you left Palm Desert and where the fuck you are right now so we can get into this man therapy, because you need some help, kid, and we're here to help you.
All right. Well, so I'll preface this story by saying that it is purely coincidence. It was a coincidence of timing on this, but I was waiting on a part for my awning. It had to go on the bus for me to be able to drive the bus on the road without some serious consequences. Got the part. It took 3 weeks to get it on. Finally got it on this weekend. And I was out of there yesterday morning, regardless of what happened. But what happened was I did a show Friday night. I said some harsh words about Reggie's wife, and it caused some serious grief over the weekend. And now I am in Arizona, parts unknown. We'll leave it at that. And just touring around again, tripping with Bonzi.
Okay, first of all, that is the fucking worst explanation. Yeah. That is like the 2-cent explanation of what we're talking about. And I know, like, I can see it in your face. You're scared to talk about this, but don't be scared to talk about this. In your travels, you met a couple of guys at the last RV campground you were at.
Yes.
Now, one of the guys' name's Reggie. Reggie's a former cop. We've talked about him on this show. You've had him on your show. Very funny stories. Used to be Bill Cosby's chauffeur. So lots of great stories because he's Bill Cosby's chauffeur. Now, Reggie has a wife who hates your fucking guts, right?
Very true. Yeah.
Like,
now this was before you said anything on the podcast, right?
Yeah, like, we had an incident about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, when they were staying at the RV resort.
Drinking, like a drinking thing?
What was the issue?
She was drinking, I was drinking, but she just started to attack me, and we had it out a couple times. And the one time Reggie was like, "Oh, Bonzi, that's my wife," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, bro, but she keeps coming at me, and I'm just defending myself." Anyway,
can you give us an example of the opener that was like you knew she meant business?
She's like, "You talk really funny. Where the hell are you from?" And I was just kind of taken aback. And she was like, "You're a white person. You sound like you're from South Central LA." And that's how it all
This
started.
is what I would have said. I'm from Canada, and you are correct, man. We are the whitest of the white. I'm sorry about that. I love you. Would you like a beer? That's what you do. Dude.
Okay,
so she was already aggressive out of the gates. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She just hated you. Well, now Reggie is married to this woman who is very loud, very obnoxious, hates Bonzi. They're around the campfire. You say some things to her. This is a couple months ago. Reggie takes an issue with it. You're like, "Sorry, bro, I won't do it again." But then you kept hanging out with Reggie, right? Like, you and Reggie kind of stayed friends. So, like, tell me more. Like, what else happened?
So Reggie and I had no issues whatsoever. He that night it was over. I never saw his wife again, but Reggie used to come over, and because his best friend was 2 over from me, and they were living there. So I'd see Reggie usually on the weekends. We'd hang out. We'd have great laughs. And then last week I spent 2 days at Reggie's house for full afternoons, helping him set up his brand new equipment for his brand new podcast.
Right.
The first day I was there, his wife was not, and the whole time. And then right when we were leaving, she came home, and I was coming down the stairs. She came in her front door, and she's like, "What are you doing in my house?" And I was just like, "Oh fuck." I was just like, "Oh, helping Reggie," and then. Reggie's putting his shoes on, and it's Reggie goes, "Oh, Bonzi hurt his foot playing tennis." And I don't even know why he had to tell her, but she's like, "Oh, it's because you white people are weak. You white people don't eat properly. You white people are this. You white people, all you do is eat hamburger meat." And I said, oh, as a matter of fact, I had a hamburger for lunch today. And she's like, see? Anyways, I left, got in the truck. Reggie's like, oh, sorry, bro. You know, she's my wife, and she's angry at you. So the next day I go back, and it's when I smashed my computer. And I'd found out about that when I got to Reggie's. And she could hear me complaining to Reggie, oh, fuck, I can't believe it broke out. And she's like, she comes in the room. She's like, what's your problem? I was like, well, I busted my computer. Kind of upsetting, brand new. And she's like, get over it. Go buy a new one. She just fucking. And I was just like, fuck. Like, I didn't engage with her at all. And then that was that. That was Thursday afternoon. Friday night, I go on my show. And after Reggie was on, and I found out Reggie was a guest. We'd been pre-planned. I guess he told his wife that day, I'm doing Bonzi's pod tonight. She goes, no, you're not. We have company. You're not doing it. He wanted to come on and do it because he wanted to promote his new podcast. So Reggie lies to his wife at 6:14, says, oh, I'm not feeling well. I got to go take a shit. And I'm going to lie down. He comes on my show, does the interview, and he was really weird. I could tell something was up. And he kept saying he was having internet troubles. Meanwhile, it was clear as fucking, there's no issues. Anyways, I didn't know that he lied to his wife and came into my podcast. He got busted. So they watched the show to see what he what he told me and why he was lying, and they proceeded to see me call her, a bitch and stuff after my interview with Reggie.
Do we have that audio?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Super.
All right, let's.
We got to play it right this second. Seriously, I want.
This is a great time to play you shitting all over Reggie's wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
love
actually
this.
the perfect time. Yeah. So this is the breaking question, which has you now from Palm Desert, California, all the way into parts unknown, Arizona.
On the lam in a different state, I think it's called.
In the most armed nation on earth.
This is Bonzi talking about Reggie's wife on his podcast, which Reggie's wife watched. Watch this.
His fucking wife hates me. I'm not. Listen, a month, 2 months ago, I would have sat here and said, yeah, I hate that bitch too. I'm growing.
What the fuck are you
Getting
doing?
better. I'm getting more mature. My old age.
Can we just stop this?
Listen, I was at her house the other.
Bonzi.
Did you get that first part?
It only got,
What was the first part? I missed it. What was the first part?
You gotta watch. He gives himself credit for growing up immediately after calling her a total bitch.
I would have sat here and said, yeah, I hate that bitch too. I'm growing.
You're growing.
You're growing. You're growing.
Your nose is growing. That's just your nose, Bonzi.
I screwed up, okay?
No, it gets better. Oh my
That's
god.
Blundellism before it gets worse. Everybody.
Oh my god, it gets so much better. It's like, I know you're embarrassed by this, but it is like I'm watching you relive your day in this moment, and it's like you're giving yourself credit for being an emotional cowboy right after you go.
You're a bitch. You're a special human
Getting
being.
more mature. My old age.
Sure.
Listen, I was at her house the other day. I was shocked that I was even allowed in there because we really didn't get along. They spent 4 nights here, I think, and me and her had 2 nights of out-and-out war around the campfire here in the desert in California for obvious reasons. But we did not like each other. That's fine. It's stunning that such a wonderful, wonderful human being like Reggie could be married to the miserablest sow, Satan's sister on the planet Earth. And I hate to speak over. I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth.
Whoa. Sal. And then what? What happened after that? What did you say?
Satan's sister.
Jesus Christ, man.
Let me know when you need my interjection here.
I'm not sure if you can tell.
The sister part also, because black people are going to think that you were mocking that in a way, like it was like the devil's, Shaniqua. Like you're going to get that. You can't say shit like that. Dude.
No, that's not where I was.
I know, but it's going to be interpreted like the sister part. I'm telling you, that's not.
Dude, you are
I'm
fucking awesome. I don't even think we need to watch the rest of it because I'm watching you basically have a fucking seizure as we play it.
Oh, it's fine.
So hold on.
I just don't.
Let me
fine.
Let me interject
You're
here.
fucking
I love you.
As somebody who on occasion will put his foot in his mouth and say something wrong, I like to jump in here.
Yeah, please.
Do you feel like you provoked this woman at all, Bonzi?
No, not at all.
And you know what?
It's funny because the very
Go ahead.
very first encounter with her, Lachlan, I was sitting around a table with 8 other people. That was the first time that I had got to go outside the bus and actually sit around at somebody else's campsite, because it just wasn't like that the past 8 months on this trip with COVID and stuff. And I'd come off doing my show. They'd all watched it. They were laughing. And it was literally like I was on stage and I was entertaining these people. They were laughing. All of a sudden, it shows up and fucking just starts tearing the strip off me when everybody else was super entertained. And she just wasn't. There was not one thing that I did. She just walked onto the scene and was just like, oh, here, yeah, you sound funny, and then it was on.
So, okay. And I think every one of us who knows Bonzi for any length of time, I mean, you can meet Bonzi and know instantly he is not going to go out of his way. He wants to be liked. That's his number one bone in his body. He needs people to like, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not criticizing you, Bonzi.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
who
take
you
it as
are.
such.
And you just need to embrace who you are. So this is an individual who needs to have drama in their lives. We've all known these people. And if you can't cut them out of your life, they're gonna suck the energy out of you. They'll suck the energy out of a room. They need it. They absolutely live on this type of bullshit. Now that you're out of the picture, she'll find somebody else to be miserable about.
Hell yeah.
What you said, you shouldn't have said. I think to a man, everyone will agree that you provoked the situation and it was unneeded, right? But it's not untrue.
No, not untrue, and also incredibly entertaining.
Incredibly entertaining, but also stupid. Now,
totally avoidable.
100%.
You went on.
Fucking funny.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
They watched the podcast that you did last night, right? Where you basically spent 15, 20 minutes trying to apologize. And I spent 15, 20 minutes yelling at my computer screen.
I missed it.
And we don't need to play any of that audio. Now, what happened after that? Did they accept your apology and say, everything's going to be fine, Bonzi? We understand. And you're a nice guy, and I know you mean well. Did any of that happen?
The only person that happened with was with Roger, who is Reggie's best friend. I messaged Roger because he had messaged me on the show. He didn't say anything mean. She did. She was watching and she came at me. I didn't engage and I blocked her.
Did it work? Did your apology work? Did it have any impact? Did it lighten the mood? No. She's fucking a miserable human being. You're not going to change that. There's nothing you can do. Your apology was completely useless. Now, if you did it for yourself because you needed to do that, that's a different thing. But you're not going to change that situation. You're not going to change who they are as individuals. And unfortunately, if you thought that there was going to be a long-term relationship there, it isn't there. And I know that will bug you because you're the kind of guy that likes to have those, to keep those type of contacts. But honestly, Bonzi, that apology was wasted. It was. Yeah. Unless I'll repeat, unless you needed to do it for yourself.
I think, Locke, I looked at it 2 ways. I'd hoped it would have helped. I already knew to her. I was apologizing to her, but I was more so apologizing to Reggie because I caused him shit and it caused us a friendship ultimately. Now, he might come around, he might not. But yeah, I did it for myself. Listen, I shouldn't have said those things first and foremost. And I fucked up. And so I owned it. And I think that was the right thing to do. And whether it helped for her, I knew it wouldn't. I really did. But I think it was cool for the other guys in that circle to go, good on Bonzi. He fucking manned up and owned it and apologized.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And here's the thing. You know what? Do you know why Reggie was so mad? Because part of the story that we're missing here is that this is why Bonzi left Palm Desert, right? Because I get a phone call. First, I get a couple of weird texts, and I'm like, huh? And he's like, Reggie just sent those to me. He's outside my door. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So the next thing, my phone rings, and he's like, bro. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bonzi, and I don't want to get any of this wrong. You're like, bro, Reggie's outside my
pounding
door.
on my front door.
Yeah, pounding on his front door on his bus, and he's like, "Get out here! I want to talk to you. Get out here!" Because what he did was, it wasn't that Reggie didn't agree with you that his wife is an enormous pain in the ass, or a piece of shit, or annoying, or just a fucking miserable douche of a human being.
What did you
'Cause
call
she
her
sounds like
again?
she was a sow, I believe. Yeah,
Satan's
sow.
sister.
Adult female pig.
Yeah,
that's
what it is, according to not Dean. Sow means an adult female pig, especially one which has farrowed. So congratulations. That's like a super insult. You really got it. But the problem is that if you've ever done this with your buddies' wives or friends, like everybody's got like friends that have wives that they don't like, or husbands like wife that didn't like them. And what you did was, like, it's okay for Reggie to say shitty stuff about his wife. It is never okay for his friends to agree with him or put forth yeah, I get it. Your wife's a total piece of shit. Like,
That's
all
a
that
good
does.
point.
Or
Yeah,
argue
absolutely.
with them in the first place.
Yes,
You
let it
diffuse
go.
that immediately. You
Big
just,
time.
as soon as they get up to you and they're like, "You're a bad person, you stupid white boy," you'd be like, "My bad, babe. Like, do you want a beer? Is there anything I can get you? Because I don't want." Yeah, like you don't want to fuck around with that shit because it's fire.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
I
also,
will
can
defend
I just point out what you
Bonzi.
did?
Hold on. I'll defend Bonzi in this situation, James. I'm totally against what you just said.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
look what
think
good it did him.
anything he said was wrong.
It's not about
Well, I
wrong. It's not about wrong. It's about strategy. It's about being able to
Nah,
ascertain the
fuck that.
situation in
There's no
front of you and
strategy
go
with a
like
woman
this.
like that.
Yeah, but
There
you
is
need
no
to respond.
strategy. I'm telling you right now, he
But that's
painted a
what I'm
very
saying.
clear
So why
picture.
choose-
He did
what-
nothing. We're talking about one of the nicest fucking guys on the
I know
planet,
that.
James.
That's okay, listen, dude. Again, it's not about nice. So to me, if I'm in Bonzi's situation, the right call, given all of the parameters that we just described, like Reggie and that's his wife and this and that, and you're in a foreign country and it's really armed there, like all these good reasons not to engage like that. The best one is because you know the person in front of you is a ticking time bomb and they'll just go at any moment. So they already went at you. So you're just like, okay, it's only going to get worse if I match that even slightly. So then, therefore, I don't do that. It's not about the principle at that point. It's about putting on the lab coat and executing a strategy for the creature in front of you so that they walk out the door and not towards you. You know, that's.
I am more of, if you're going to be a raging pain in the ass and this is your life and you've created all this trauma and drama in your life, right? I'll help you be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
I'll make sure your night is fucking long and ugly. And I'll fight right back with her. And that's what
Yeah, but the
Bonzi
problem
did.
is-
And good for you, Bonzi, because there was no reason why she should have attacked you on the first meeting. And then consequently, every other meeting, she just decided she didn't like you. So fuck her.
But
There
don't you
was
think
nothing
you
you
should
could
employ the
have done.
same strategy that you do when the bitches online, the people online, the guys, girls, whatever, when they diss you? We just spent like half an hour last week telling Bonzi, why would you care about what that person thinks? So just because they're in front of you, why would you care what that person thinks?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
why
two
respond?
issues.
Engage.
There's two issues
Then
here,
blow-
and
then blow it
I kind of side with Locke on the one issue, which is yeah, pull out the pin, let's blow it up.
Put a hand
and
grenade into
I'm like that too, where I'll be in a room full of people, and if someone's just an insufferable piece of shit, and they're making everybody languish, I will make that person my project. But I'm with James a little bit too, because when it's about, because Locke, here's the thing, is that Bonzi's not like you. He doesn't have the testicular fortitude you do to be able to go through a room and not give two fucks if everybody in there hates your guts. Bonzi really loves to be loved. Right? I know. I got the same gift. It's called sexy indifference. That's why everybody thinks it's cool. It's like, man, nothing bothers you. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. That's why it doesn't bother me. It's incredible. I don't care what anybody says about me. So the problem is that you're giving him your advice, something that you would do, but Bonzi doesn't have the chemical makeup to do it. And what James is saying is 100% true. you needed to be more strategic in that thing and shut the fuck up. Like, don't say anything about the guy's wife. I remember once dating, not dating, I didn't date a guy. I remember once I knew a guy who was dating this girl, and prior to them dating, and dude, I'll just tell you the story. Conan O'Brien came to town. We had a storefront studio at the radio station I was working at. We were giving away tickets. These two incredibly hot chicks showed up and started having a snowball fight in their underwear. And we're like, we're giving these hot chicks these Conan O'Brien tickets. This is going to be incredible. And I'm just going to tell the truth. We're sitting there like talking about these women like we shouldn't have been talking about these women, right? Oh, look at her. She's this. Oh, look at her. She's that. Fast forward 2 weeks later, my co-host comes in and he's like, and I go, hey, you remember those two so-and-sos and their gitch that were here, those total dirt birds that were here, these disgusting men. Remember that? And he's like, whoa. I'm dating one of those girls, my girlfriend. Don't call her a dirt bird. Don't call her a dirt bird. And I'm like, wait a second. 2 weeks ago, you were saying fucking way worse shit, and now you're dating her so no one can say any of that stuff anymore? And he's like, yeah. And he was right. I mean, it was a total hijacking on his behalf. It's like, but my point is this, is that it doesn't matter who the person is. You're just creating problems for you when you get emotional about it, right? Like when you, and James is 100% right. You should have looked at that and went, oh, okay, this woman hates me. I'm just not going back to the house, and I'm going to eat the shit because I don't want Reggie coming to my house with a fucking gun because I told her she was a bitch.
To Lachlan's point, I have walked into rooms, and when someone got out of line, I dismantled their psychology. I know what that feels like, and I love doing that shit, but you got to pick your battles. And being in the United States, in some weird place in California, where that is why I wouldn't have done that. If it was
where I will agree
Toronto
with you.
and we were at the keg, oh yeah, I do that all night long. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's
fun,
where I agree with you.
right?
Reggie is also starting a podcast because he was Bill Cosby's security guard, then ended up being a cop and has shot a couple of people and killed them. So I think that.
Too.
Actually, yeah, I think
Bonzi
Bonzi probably made a mistake.
And why isn't he a cop anymore?
No, he is. He's still a cop.
Oh,
he's got 2 years left. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, Bonzi. Like,
2
you knew
years,
this guy's
couple
murdered
more
a couple
years
of people
to
legally,
kill
and you're there
people.
fucking insulting his wife, and he's at your door. So that's why I get the phone call. He's like, dude, what should I do? All of me wanted to tell you, like, I was like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. And then all of me wanted to go, at about 3 a.m., I want you to unplug everything from your RV, stuff it underneath the fucking bus, and hightail it out of there. That's all I wanted to tell him
That's
to
what
do.
he did.
And that's exactly
It was a
what
smart
I need to just say one thing that I think is hugely
important.
important, just hugely important.
Yeah, sure.
The first encounter that you had with Reggie's wife, if I'm not mistaken, you still had the skullet.
Yes.
I mean, if that guy's talking shit to me, I'm probably a little bit.
We're back to it's all your fault.
I had the hat on. She didn't know I had a skullet, though.
She presumed.
Speaking of skullets, have you guys been paying attention
love
to
your work, buddy?
I do too.
Love your work.
Have you guys been paying attention to the this Kid Rock monster truck fucking
Danko Jones
fight? Have you guys been watching this?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Like I almost don't know where to start, and I've been at this all day and talking to a whole bunch of different people involved, including the bands. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. Let me give you the short stroke. So Monster Truck is this great hard rock band out of Hamilton. I've known them for years. They've always been nice to me. I've supported them. They've supported me. I've known Danko for a long time. He supports me. I support him. He's a good human being. I love the fact that that he speaks out. Some might have an issue with it, but I don't. He's very vocal. He represents himself, and he represents his band, and he represents human nature, and he represents the greater good, and I like that. So fast forward. A couple days ago, this new Kid Rock song comes out. It's called Don't Tell Me How to Live. And it is fucking awful. Like, it is a terrible fucking song.
I disagree.
I know you do. However, the song itself is from a 2015 Monster Truck song. Kid Rock sampled the bass line, and he put it into this song that was, and the chorus, anti-snowflake tune called Don't Tell Me How to Live. Now, in the video, which we can't play because if we play it, we'll get suspended and then we get demonetized, and that's just not what we're going to do.
I'm
But I
working
would
on
love
an
to play the
edit
video.
for the locker room, just so
Are you?
everyone's aware.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I would love that.
with barn animal sound effects to cover up everything we can't play on the radio.
Good. But as you know, Kid Rock is an unabashed MAGA guy. He's a Trump guy. He's been outspoken about, being anti-vaccine and all the shit, all the tropes. He sides with the alt-right. That's where he is. Alt-right has got a very serious racist trope that is embedded in it. And so seeing Monster Truck do a song with Kid Rock incensed Danko to the point where he said some shit. And I don't disagree. This tweet he put out as the day it came out. November 20th, disappointed to hear a certain band on a song with a certain musician who's been public with his MAGA politics, including uttering the phrase, fuck Colin Kaepernick during live performances. That's tantamount to standing in solidarity with him. I find it gross. He then says true racists like Kid Rock have learned using racist terms will work again against them. Instead, they employ dog whistles and gaslighting, looking to endorsement of Morgan Whalen, using the Confederate flag and targeting of prominent people of color, all dog whistles. That was in reference to him targeting Oprah. If you remember last year, Kid Rock told Oprah she could suck his dick sideways. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Not sure. Is that
I don't know if
possible?
she could. I don't know if she could.
I don't know if she could either. I don't know, but it then escalated. And there's receipts here. Danko left receipts. Kid Rock said, fuck Colin Kaepernick during a concert. Colin Kaepernick sacrificed his career, draw attention to racial inequality. If you stand alongside Kid Rock in a music video calling out snowflakes, sporting fur coats and guns, you're as big a piece of shit as Kid Rock. Now, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, but Monster Truck has spoken out. John Harvey, the lead singer of the band, who was in the video with Kid Rock, and I believe that is causing most of the issues. John Harvey, in a statement, this is what he says. Addressing Danko Jones' criticism, he said, quote, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but it feels a little opportunistic to me. It also feels like he's a very angry person. After seeing that, Danko Jones put this out. Please know when a person of color speaks up against racism, being called angry is a way to turn down their voice. This is what racists do. John Harvey, a Monster Truck, now made it abundantly clear everyone employs racist tropes. So this is kind of where we're at in terms of Monster Truck, and I'll give you the short strokes because I've spoken to Jeremy from the band. I've spoken to Danko Jones from the band. Jeremy is fully aware of the hatred. He totally
player, right?
Yeah, he's a guitar player, great guy.
He's a great kid.
And he said to me, and I have no problem telling you this, he says he cannot find a way to spin it and doesn't want to comment on it, and he fully understands the frustration. Fully understands. However, I also know that Kid Rock paid them to sample it. I know that band has not toured for a long period of time, and intentionally what the goal was for them to say, hey, listen, you can use our song. We'll take the dough. John Harvey was asked if he could weigh in, because he's the guy singing on the initial track, right? The 2015 song.
He's the
Kid
bass
Rock
player,
says,
front guy.
Yeah. He's like, do you want to be in my video? It's fur coats, guns, bunch of Confederate shit. He's like, whatever. Who cares? Sure, I'll do it. And so I kind of get it from that perspective, but I also understand it from Danko Jones' perspective, right? Like Danko is a person of color in the rock game, and guys in the rock brotherhood in Canada are standing up there with, a self-avowed maggot. And I would, if I was Danko Jones, which I'm not, I would probably take offense to it too. But it speaks to a bigger problem, which is like, okay, fuck, like, are we all guilty by association at some point? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand the impetus for these guys, Monster Truck, to sell the song to Kid Rock and to do the song with Kid Rock. I can understand that John Harvey's biggest fucking moment is being in a Kid Rock tune. I totally get all that stuff. But the song itself is so fucking bad. It's
Disagree.
It's like I was dude, let me read you the lyrics. These are the fucking lyrics.
No, play the song.
I can't. I'm not allowed to play the song.
I know.
Here's how it starts.
It's a good Kid Rock tune, man.
No, it isn't.
That's not really saying much,
dude. It was like written by a reject. It was like it's like written by someone who's got CTE. That's how I look at this. It's like the laziest shit in the world. So not only did he not write the song because he bought it from Monster Truck.
Well, no.
Right?
No. He wrote verses around the
Someone
chorus
else's
from
music.
the monster truck,
Yeah.
and the melody line is what he did. So this is not a monster truck song outside of the chorus,
Right. Outside
from
of
my
the,
understanding. Yeah,
the bass line and every musical part of it. This is the laziest shit I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Okay,
But let me read you the lyrics.
That's
Read
the
it.
most offensive part of the song.
please spit some rhymes for us here, Dean.
Okay. This is Kid Rock's Don't Tell Me How to Live. It starts off, fuck all you hoes. Detroit till I die, motherfucker. Talking all that bullshit. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. We get to the first verse. I'm a moonshine sipper, straight slipping in the darkness, far from heartless. I'm more like the sharpest tool in the shed. No, I've never been the smartest, but make no mistake, I hit the fucking hardest. Devil without a cause. You heard me scream it, and 20 years later, bitch, I still fucking mean it. Bucka bucka. Bucka bucka. You ain't never met a motherfucker like this. Kiss my ass, then you can suck a dick sideways, my way or the highway. Listen up, ain't nothing changed here. I still don't give a fuck. So what the fuck's up with all the backlash, you snowflakes? Here's the news flash.
Okay,
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. Verse 2.
Oh, there's more.
you're gonna do the whole thing, are you?
James
All
is
right.
gonna have a coronary in a second.
I just think it's
Verse
against
2.
my principle. Go ahead.
Well, I know it is. This is a huge
Hold on. I'd
song
like to point out
for
you
maggots.
wanted to sing it instead of letting Dean do
Oh,
it.
I didn't read it yet, though.
Well, there you go. I saved you a lot of pain.
Thank you very
Verse
much.
2. Years ago, we all thought it was a joke, see, that every kid got a motherfucking trophy. But yo, homie, here's the situation. A nation of pussies is our next generation. And these minions and their agendas, every opinion has a millennial offended. But this amendment 1, it rings true. And if you don't dissent, bitch, then see number 2. Ain't nothing new. Right church, wrong pew. Get a clue, a crew, your fake news and views. Can I get the bottom of my motherfucking shoe? Question mark. I'm the last of a few still screaming,
Thank God.
fuck you. Yeah. And then he
This
says,
is going to be a hard song to edit.
yeah. Then he says, oh, I'm a soar like an eagle. That's my favorite. My wings will carry me away. I've got the heart of a lion. I get stronger every day. Verse 3. This is where he kicks it into Shakespearean high
Overdrive.
gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just put this up so we can see it. You never tell me shit. You ain't, James, you'll love this. Never flip my script because I'm more outrageous than the Vegas Strip. You're like Mayberry bitch. I'm hard and crisp. High risk hillbilly, but I'm filthy rich. You're like Milli Vanilli, kind of silly and shit. I'm like Shotgun Willie, smoking Phillies and shit. I'm like, and this is where he loses me, if he hadn't lost me already. I'm like Reverend Ron, David Lee Roth, like Springsteen, bitch, I'm the motherfucking boss. James Dean, shit, I'm more like Brad Pitt. A little less pretty, but I sling more dick.
You know what that means?
I don't know. I twang more riffs. I slide through grass. I rip more lines than a 10-pound bass. Like he's talking about coke. Pass the mic. I'm like slow gin fizz. And ain't nobody you gonna tell me how to live.
I'm going to be spending all afternoon editing that so I can play it on the radio tomorrow. Okay. Can I just say something?
Sure.
Listen, you don't have to be a Kid Rock fan, right? Nobody does.
Big rock fan.
Thank
But
God.
he has his fans. He sells a lot of records. He sells a lot of concert tickets. And you can be upset at that if you want. That's fine. That's totally your prerogative. You don't have to buy his record. You don't have to download his album off of Spotify. But the thing that I think that gets lost on his audience is that this is a shtick. Now, he has become the shtick, like a lot of people in that arena. Like, they play it long enough. He is Kid Rock. Like, he doesn't go home and he isn't, Doogie Howser at home and then Kid Rock when he's out, in the clubs. He's become that guy. But he comes from money. He hit on something, and if you're going to give Kid Rock credit, he has stayed relevant when most of that rap rock scene completely died. Like, it had a very, it had a bright light.
Has he stayed relevant, though? Like,
Yeah,
has he stayed as relevant as he was when he came out with Devil Without a Cause?
Okay, maybe not as, but he's more relevant now than he is than Limp Bizkit, than Fred Durst.
Oh, to the fucking crazies he is, for sure.
So that was like 99, 2000, 2001, and then it died. It was gone. Kid Rock stayed there. He stayed and kept evolving.
So everything you said was true about what he's done. So I guess I can give him businessman chops and stuff, and he's managed to stay somewhat relevant in a smaller way. That's all great and everything. But if there was an up and comer who wrote that song, they would still be an up and comer, and that's what I hate about it. It's whack as fuck. Read that.
He's not an up and comer. And he's never written lyrics that are going to win any Pulitzer Prize. Like, I mean, he hasn't. Go back and listen to anything off of Devil Without a Cause. Right? Like,
he's not as good as anything he wrote when he was young.
He's not winning any fucking awards for his
I'm not
lyrics,
suggesting
James.
he is.
Why
What
are
I'm
we
as
hanging
an
this?
artist? Hold on, relax. As an artist, as a person who writes lyrics, I do it as a hobby, guys. But I'm pretty fucking good, and I read that, and I've been doing it for 30 years. And I read something like that, and I'm not offended as a businessman or as a music fan or as anything like that. I'm offended as an artist. To me, that is the rap rock equivalent to red dot on white canvas. Because I'm the guy that says that's nonsense.
I get that. Now you're the song is catchy. When you pull lyrics off of any song, I don't care if it's Bryan Adams, if it's Celine Dion, if it's
all better rappers
without the
than
the melody line. I mean, without the music behind it, you're not gonna sit there. It's not gonna win any awards.
Not in their genre. Their genres are different. Okay, he's decided that he wants the hip hop fusion thing going on. So and he's chosen the lyrics as the avenue to get there. And his lyrics are whack. I would rather listen to Island Boys. And I fucking
okay. All right. So we can have a conversation about how good his lyrics are. I get that. And
that's the only thing I'm talking about.
He does hit the tropes, right? But I think he's trolling everybody.
No,
I mean,
he's
when he
trying
was
to get
trying
that demographic,
to run
that Tom McDonald guy, that rapper, that white rapper guy that only puts out songs. He's actually a half decent lyricist, and his whole identity is putting out songs like that. If you look him up, like he's
quite funny.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of views, like 300 million views, and probably over 2 billion in total.
Okay, so let's put Kid Rock on the back burner quickly, right? Okay, you can either like his music or not, right? You can be a fan of him or not. And if you're offended by him, then don't listen to his goddamn music. That's kind of where I stand with it, right? And then we can get into whether or not his stuff is actually quality. It's catchy. It's like Nickelback. You can hate Nickelback like it's a trendy thing to do, and you're the hipster and you hate Nickelback because Chad has a formula, but they all have a fucking formula. Everybody has a fucking formula in this business, including Danko Jones, who I have a lot of respect for. And when a Danko Jones song comes on, I fucking turn it up. Not because it's going to win any fucking awards for its writing, right? Or its message, but because it's a good fucking rock song. Now, your Monster Truck, okay? How many people even know who that band is? They are not that big, okay? And they deserve to be bigger, in my opinion, based on what they've released. They're a great stoner rock band. Kid Rock management calls you and says, I'm going to write you a check for $500,000. You fucking take it. I'm sorry.
You're a middling Canadian band that hasn't done anything significant in the last couple of years. You haven't toured. You got no money. Like, that part of this I get. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but continue.
Yeah. You know what? I don't. The only thing that I think Monster Truck needs to be at fault for is letting the bass players sing. I mean, it should be a rule in rock and roll. They took the money. They did a song with Kid Rock. And again, that is what it is. And why is it so upsetting to Danko? There's so much offensive shit out there. Like, I understand Danko is angry because they're like fellow Canadians or something. Or
I think it would have been better if they sold them the sample, but didn't go on the video. You know what I mean? I think the image of them on the video is probably harder to swallow.
I've got to be honest with you. That is the consensus from a lot of the guys in Monster Truck too. Like, this is not about Danko versus Monster Truck. To me, this is like, okay, there are so many different aspects to this. Money, being dormant as a band, opportunity, all these things feed into it when you're a band that's struggling. And Monster Truck is a fucking great band. And they were struggling, right? So they get an opportunity to go with Kid Rock. Their lead singer's like, hey, you want to come in the video? He's like, I guess so. And to John's credit, when he explained it on blabbermouth.net, which is where we got that article from, you can go read it. Hey, he responded to Danko's tweets and said Danko's angry. I think Danko deserves, that's the other thing. I can see why he's angry. I completely get it. Because Kid Rock is a piece of shit. Like, that act of, if you think it's just an act of him being a degenerate maggot, telling people not to get vaccinated, fucking
is he
all the
doing
shit,
that,
everything. Yes, all of this stuff.
Okay.
Like, he's one of those cats. Like, and if he's doing it for an act, it's a fucking even worse act to me. Like, to pretend that you're part of that racist community and say, "What? I'm not racist because I got a black son," which he does. And it's not even, and it is an act because he grew up in Romeo, Michigan. His dad owned several car dealerships.
Like 20.
He had a staff of people that used to serve them all the time. Like, it's not like the guy came from Detroit. Yeah, exactly.
He's not Ted Nugent's kid?
No, but he acts like it. He acts like it. So it's
Ted Nugent's fucking loaded too, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and he got
his
COVID
kids
and
are
almost
probably
died.
annoying little millionaires as well.
Probably.
I don't know, man.
I have yet to see a fight like this between Canadian bands, and they're having it out in public. And I asked Danko to come on the show, and we had a wonderful exchange this morning. Totally support his position. His exchange with me was, and I'll tell you what he said. He's like, hey, listen, I'm just a little hot right now. I'd rather let my tweets speak for themselves. And I'm like, no problem. Perfect. And then I talked with Jeremy from Monster Truck, and like I said earlier, he's like, I totally get everybody's position. I completely understand it. But he's not about to sell people out in his own band. And I understand that and appreciate that too, right? It's just, I think it's different for white people. It is. This issue is different for white people because Kid Rock represents people that generally are big fans of fucking slavery.
Can we just say this out loud, please? If you like Kid Rock's music, it doesn't make you a racist.
Yeah.
Okay? Like,
That's
you
where
can
we are,
listen
though,
to a
right?
Kid Rock song and not be a racist. That
It's
needs
like
to be
saying
said
that
out
if you
loud.
listen
We're
to
having
Creed,
a conversation.
You'll end up a Christian after you're done listening to the album, which doesn't
Exactly.
make sense.
We're having a conversation about whether or not Monster Truck should be held accountable for doing a song with Kid Rock. Is what Danko Jones is saying. I think it's a step too far. Does Danko Jones have a point? Has Kid Rock done some things he should be that he shouldn't have? And is he, could we judge him for the things he says and does on stage, off stage, to help promote his music with that audience? Absolutely. The step too far for me is holding Monster Truck accountable for the association especially based on what we've gone through. Like, these guys are barely fucking hanging on. Right?
Yeah, that's a relatively new phenomenon, though, and it exists in
It is not
a whole bunch of different spheres. No, the new phenomenon being the guilt by association thing. Like, you have to adopt the views of the person that you collab with for some reason. That didn't exist 10, 15 years ago. That's new. So I don't know. I don't think I understand Danko's point of view on it. I think the video probably sealed the deal, like, for the image of seeing that and while he's spitting those god awful lyrics about all that stuff, that I think probably if I'm sitting there watching that, that's probably setting me off. be more than the sample itself, because now you got the image. The image looks like a cosign, I guess. And I don't think that is right. I also think that if I'm Danko, maybe that's exactly how I'd feel. Like, it's a really hard one.
Twitter.
Like, it's a really
Danko can go on Twitter and go, you guys shouldn't have done that. But he's not doing that. He's angry. He's trying to, like, you know what I'm saying?
I probably would have done it privately if I could, like I probably would have just reached out or something.
These are some of the tweets, and this is his experience. Like, this is where I'm at with anybody, any person of color, is that I am never going to minimize their experience. And so when you talk about how he looks at this, you can't really have a judgment on it. Like he said in one tweet yesterday, as a person of color speaking out against associating with racist, I should stay in my place. That's what he was told to in a tweet. He says, it's astounding the amount of people who are salivating at the opportunity to cosplay as my overseer. I thought that was brilliant. Aside from the absolute cluelessness of another tweet where someone says you have a mixed kid and black bandmates, because Kid Rock has a mixed kid and he's got black bandmates. He says, aside from the absolute cluelessness of this tweet, having biracial kids doesn't exempt anyone from being racist. As a mixed kid myself, I should know, and I've witnessed it firsthand. I think that there's we get stuck on, is something racist or is it not, right?
Yeah.
And is that person racist or are they not? And then what we do as people is we like to take this collar and go and look for people associated with that racist or that person, and we like to hang it on those people, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing.
It's not fair.
It isn't fair, and I don't think it is fair in the case of Monster Truck, the rest of the band. I think John Harvey probably made a questionable decision, and I think the rest of his band is questioning the decision, if you want my honest truth, and that is the truth. However, I don't think as human beings they will tell him what he should or shouldn't do, right?
I'll tell you one
thing. A guy
thing.
like Danko has 40 years being a person of color, being treated with, the same shitty gloves that people of color have been treated with for years, and he sees these guys he used to tour with or guys that he knows, brotherhood of the Canadian rock scene. Like, this is tearing the fabric of the Canadian rock scene apart. It really is. Like, it's a fucking huge story. But he sees this, and I can see his disappointment. I can see his legitimate disappointment.
He's got a point. We've agreed that he has a point. Yeah.
Guys in the rock scene from his home country are collaborating with a guy who parades around like he's part of this racist gang in the United States.
Doesn't make
That's how I look at
John and Jeremy and the rest of Monster Truck racist. Because they took some money from a guy that is associated with that. Now, I'll tell you this.
But Danko said something interesting too the other day. He's like, listen, every band has been faced with this dilemma. Like, every band has been faced with the dilemma: do you work with that person or not? And he said he's walked away from gigs because of that. Because of the
did he walk away from what Monster Truck made?
I don't know what they made. I couldn't tell you.
Well, to make, I bet you they make $1 million off that song.
Ultimately,
Guaranteed.
do you think that money is going to, and this attention is going to hurt or
No.
help them?
If anything, it'll actually bring them it'll bring them more attention, and it actually will help their career, especially south of the border.
Isn't it like, it might help Danko in a weird way too, but isn't it
Yeah,
kind
it
of
will.
strange? Isn't it kind of like the agreement has to be, or sorry, the main disagreement seems to be, is Kid Rock a racist? Because Danko says yes. To be honest, I tuned that guy out the second I heard his music 25 whatever years ago. Like, I don't like his music at all. But I don't know if he's a racist. I do know that he pimps shit in his videos like Confederate flags to appeal to a racist audience who might buy his music. I don't know if personally, and I don't know if that's bad enough, but I don't know if personally Kid Rock is a racist. So really, that must be the main disagreement, because I don't know how many guys in Monster Truck actually have said or think or believe that Kid Rock is a racist. So maybe that's actually the point of disagreement, right?
I've heard some comics say awful things that I know they didn't mean to get a reaction. And I think that's what Kid Rock employs with his music and things like his imagery. I think he does it to create a reaction. And any press is good press, I think, is part of it, right?
Do you remember when Colin Kaepernick decided that he was going to throw his fucking NFL career away because he was tired of black people being marginalized? Do you remember that? And in that same year, I think it was like 3 years ago, Kid Rock, right behind Donald Trump saying it, in a concert, he's like, fuck Colin Kaepernick. Dude sacrificed his life for marginalized people of color in the United States. So I think that qualifies.
Screwed by NFL.
Oh, fucked over. If like when a guy is who fought for racial equality and legitimately threw a robust NFL career away for it,
but was Kid Rock
told to go
saying
fuck themselves?
Colin Kaepernick because he was black or because he was kneeling during the anthem?
That's why.
It doesn't matter.
Now you got another question mark
but
about
it doesn't
whether or
matter.
not.
But dude,
Bonzi had a fight with a black woman this week. Does that make him racist?
Totally.
Or does that just make her a bitch? Right?
No, it does.
It makes nobody anything, Lachlan.
That's what I'm saying is this conversation, every time you peel back another layer, you have more questions.
But that's what I'm saying is that when we get into that racist conversation, like, is Kid Rock a fucking racist? I look at that one instance with Colin, and I've partied with him. Like, when he broke with I Am the Bull God, I was at 89X in Detroit, and I remember, like, hanging out with him, I gave him smokes because he didn't even have enough money to buy smokes. And you can't tell if he's a racist by partying with a guy, right? You just can't. His son's maybe you can. But when he says, because it's about what Colin Kaepernick, why he was doing it. And if he's not racist, and if he supports equality and equality of opportunity among all races, saying fuck Colin Kaepernick, not knowing, like, just, you can't separate, was it about the kneeling or was it about why he was kneeling? The whole thing is about why, right? And so to say fuck that guy, you're saying fuck the reason he's doing it too, which is, I think, how Danko got it racist, and I don't disagree with him. I really don't.
I don't think everyone got that context.
When I saw Colin,
the context of kneeling, I think some people just were like, that's just disrespectful to the military, period, and didn't think he's doing a lot for black people. They just thought about the military side of it. So I don't think that if you say fuck Colin Kaepernick, it's because you're racist. It could be for a myriad of things, right? Maybe people should be smart enough to think about the optics of saying that, but we're not all there. Like, we don't always think about optics, right?
And I don't think you're getting optics from Kid Rock, right?
Right. Yeah, good point.
They're not
Definitely
having a conversation in the tour bus about the minutia of a conversation, a comment on the stage, right?
Yeah.
That's not Kid Rock.
Yeah, let's go deep on the fuck Colin Kaepernick thing. Bob, his real name's Robert, by the way, Robert Ritchie. Robert, let's go deep on the. Probably don't say that ever again.
What were you really saying?
What were you really saying? You're saying you support the military? Just say you fucking support the military.
When I saw Colin Kaepernick, and I appreciate what happened, like why he was doing what he did, and I understand it. But I also said out loud numerous times on my radio show that he picked the wrong stage. He picked the wrong avenue, in my opinion. If he wanted to stay in the NFL.
I thought it was the greatest one-man protest I have ever seen in my lifetime since the Chinese man stood in front of that tank.
And I didn't agree with it.
I really did.
I did not agree with Colin Kaepernick making a stand during the anthem.
That was serious? The perfect time to do it.
I'm dead serious.
Do you agree with it now?
I agree with it now based on the fact that the guy, he may never play, but he's still one of the richest athletes in the United States of America, right? You can't feel bad for a guy that continues to make more sponsorship dollars in the United States of America than most active players.
Listen, it's not about that.
I felt bad that he lost his gig.
I felt bad that he was minimized and marginalized by people because he was saying, hey, listen, I really want you to pay attention to the fact that you're arresting black people at 20 times the rate you arrest white people.
And I think I think he should have found a better way to do it, because what did he accomplish? That's what I'm asking.
He cemented his legacy and makes $20 million a year from Nike because of it now, because they appreciate the fact that he actually legitimately gave up his entire career.
Hold on.
One of the most
Here's my
recognizable people
thing.
on the planet.
Did he fix things, or are they still the same?
I think when Roger Goodell apologized to him last year, I think when Roger Goodell was like, Colin Kaepernick was right. We have a problem, and we got to pay attention to it, and I'm sorry. I think that cemented the answer to that question. In my mind, I think he did.
At the time when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the anthem, I thought it was a mistake, and that doesn't make me a racist.
No.
I thought that there was too much conversation about why he was doing it during the anthem, and not enough conversation about why he was doing it to begin with.
I think he maximized the conversations by doing it at that point.
Sure, but then we got the waters got muddy, and everyone was fighting about whether or not he should be doing it, whether or not he was offending the veterans. Like, that was the point that I was making. That was the issue that I had with it.
But I think what you're describing is actually like all of the ingredients necessary for doing something publicly that will get the most exposure.
James,
the
you're not
same
wrong.
reasons that you're saying he shouldn't have done it are the same reasons an activist or a strategist or something would say that's exactly why he should have done it. You know, so
and
that's
what Lachlan's saying, which is, I understand it. It's like, hey, listen, I had a difference of opinion as to how and why, doesn't make me racist. And I was also right.
I was also angry that he never got a job. I never got an opportunity when he clearly should have. For years, the NFL fucked him. They blackballed him, and they kept him out of the league. And he probably should have played.
But what was that thing, that tryout thing that he skipped at the end? What was that about?
No, he went to a tryout, like a pro D day, and he didn't look good because he hadn't thrown the ball for a couple of years. And everybody's like, it's not that great.
Because I thought
we wanted it to be better.
They wouldn't let his friend do it with him.
He didn't want them to control things, and they were trying to control things, and Colin Kaepernick stepped in, and he did his own version of what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he did it at a high school. I get it.
It wasn't great.
I don't blame him for that either, because they've always wanted to put this fucking guy in a box, right? And anyway, and he said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do things the way I've always done them, and I'm going to do them my way again, right?
I think we're all a little bit surprised that the NFL made a controversial decision.
A little bit. Hey, speaking of controversy, my favorite part of the Kid Rock video, which I can play for you, is this part where he rides a rocket ship shaped like a middle finger into the clouds and has a handgun and is shooting all the people on Earth.
Hopefully his rhyme book is on the rocket.
Look at this. This is incredible. Kid Rock lifts off. There he is shooting people on a middle finger.
That looks like a high school play.
That's the thing, is that the song is shit and the video is even fucking worse if you go and watch it. It's like it was done in someone's backyard and like on MS Paint, and then he decides, like, you know what I'd really love, guys, is a giant rocket ship middle finger and me shooting a handgun at people while I'm wearing angel wings on the back. That would be a lot of fun.
I find it funny. And if somebody said to me, hey, Locke, Kid Rock wants you in his video, I am packing my bags, getting my best pair of underwear, and I'm heading down to wherever it's been filmed.
Did you see Weird Al's tweet?
Yeah.
Weird Al had the best tweet ever.
Oh, Dean, if you
I can't stand that guy, but he did kill it yesterday with his tweet.
Yeah. Weird Al's like, I don't know why everybody thinks that's me in that video, but it's not me. It's just looks exactly like me.
That's actually Kid Rock.
Look at that, though. Look at him. He's fucking shooting a revolver on top of a giant mechanized middle finger. Like, you can't write this. And he's got a bottle of rye in his hand, too.
By the way, Positive Mike, don't tune into my show tomorrow, because I'm going to be playing an edited version of this Kid Rock song. It might take me all night to edit it.
But good news, Positive Mike. He promised to play Barnyard Animals where the song sucks, so it's just a cow mooing the entire 3.5 minutes.
I have to edit out the things that I'm legally not allowed to play on terrestrial radio. By the way, you know what? I'm pissed off that my tweet the other day, that I sent out to Kid Rock and Monster Truck did nothing. It just died on a vine. I said, hey, waiting on a radio edit.
Can't radio edit that. There'd be no fucking lyrics. There is just be a series of beeps for like 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That would be
He
it.
did it for Eminem. He
Yeah,
had a lot of
that's
songs
not
like
bad.
that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, wait till you hear. Maybe I'll send you a copy of it tonight, Dean, so you can hear my attempt at trying to edit the Kid Rock song.
I would love it.
Yeah, could you
'Cause
put
you'll be
through the
at it for a
DMs,
while.
please? That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, send it to us. Before we go, a couple things. Locke, bad news. Looks like Kim Kardashian and
what a-
Pete Davidson are fucking happy.
Which one is
Look
Kim
at that
Kardashian?
loser. Look at that
this was-
loser.
this
What are
was
they
taken-
driving?
A
He is
Lamborghini
ugly as
SUV.
fuck.
Yeah. So this is yesterday in LA. As you can see, Kim looks incredibly happy, and Pete looks just as homeless as ever. But the great part about this is not the actual picture of them being happy. What I love about it is this enormous hickey on his neck. She's 41, he's 28, and they're giving each other fucking hickeys already. But this is incredible. Like the
Holy
fact
shit.
that these two are happy is like a dream come true for me.
Why?
But it goes.
Why?
I'll tell you what.
They're
why.
happy business people. They're not happy lovers.
He's the cougar slayer.
It doesn't
He is.
matter what age they are for Pete.
No,
He just walks them into the stall. He just doesn't care.
let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
he
And,
does
like-
not care. They can be 18 or they can be 45. He's like,
Right.
he
Yeah,
just
he
swings
doesn't
them
have
in.
an age gate. Like most
No.
of us have an age gate. For me, it's like between the ages of 35 and 55. I don't play outside that 20-year window. It's just creepy and weird, right? And so, and it's not like I'm on the hunt for it or I'm looking for it. It's not like I'm Pete Davidson where I'm at work and Kim Kardashian strolls into my business and she's like, I like you. I'm like, all right. But it's 40 over 20 all day. That's what's amazing about Pete is that Pete is a 28-year-old degenerate who, look at him.
Yeah.
He legitimately looks homeless.
Yeah.
And he is with a 41-year-old super cougar. There's no way you can describe her. Like, you know how you have superfood and food? There's cougars and then there's super cougars. But
She's very pretty.
much like we saw with Pete Davidson and Kate Beckinsale,
That one made me angry.
I know, made me angry too because Kate Beckinsale's number one on my list. But
Not anymore. She's been downgraded since the Pete Davidson thing.
no, she's still there.
No.
But he is doing what I think a lot of younger dudes are doing now, which is they are trying to date into that upper echelon of an experienced woman. And I was thinking
because
about
of the
it.
sex.
Well, this is the question: is it 40 over? Like, have older chicks never been hotter for single
No.
guys?
No.
Never. Like, there's a
And-
mystery out there when it comes to older chicks, right?
And I
And
mean,
young
we
guys
don't
are
need
like,
to
"Who's
make this
gonna get in
offensive, but I think everybody is thinking exactly what we're all thinking about that strategy,
Which is what?
right? I
Make
just
it-
said I don't want to say it out loud.
They know what they're doing when they
You're
get
gonna
older.
make
You
me-
almost got him though.
I know.
We were going to talk about this last week on the podcast, Logan. We were going to talk about, remember how if you die in a certain religion and then you go to the afterlife and you have 72 virgins, I would be like, can I have door number 2?
Right.
I don't even care what's behind it.
Yeah.
I just want door number 2.
Listen, Mr. Suicide Bomber Planner guy, is there an afterlife where the chicks are a little older and not
With a
virgins?
little bit of experience.
Can we have
Baggage, but they
90
know how to carry it.
Can
You
I
know?
have 99 MILFs, please?
Yeah. I got 99 mils.
I'll
You
trade
need
you
to start
70.
rewriting scripture here, James.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
way,
I
there's
have,
your
buddy.
next
I
fucking
have.
rap song.
I put
99
stuff all
MILFs.
over that Bible.
99. I got 99 MILFs.
And
And
Kim
milk.
K
So I just
won.
got to get dark bags under my eyes, paint my fingernails black, apparently, as
Yeah.
I've noticed in all his photos. And
Good news.
And
You have the dark
Add
bags already.
4
Bobby.
inches to your cock.
I do okay. I don't quite have the hammer he does. I'm not going to lie, but not that I've seen it. But from what I've heard, he's doing pretty well.
Rumor has it that Pete is 10 inches of meat down in his pants, and so that's kind of the clincher for a lot of these older
Quid,
ladies.
meet
because-
Well,
pro quo.
And
Pretty
he
sure.
is and
can fill the gaps.
apparently he's not a grower.
oh, he's not. He's just a shower.
Apparently he's a shower. Yes, that's
Well,
the
at
other
that length,
the other rumor
okay.
that it's that he needs to strap it in.
Great.
But
point
anyways,
about
they're a
the virgins in
product
the
though,
after-
right? They're a product.
What do you mean?
Well, they're like, it's probably like I don't trust any relationship that Kim Kardashian is in because I feel like it's just a front for her career. Like
A
I
stunt?
never feel, I feel like she's like a good businesswoman, and men that come into her life, she analyzes them, and if you could see into her head and it came up in a digital thing on your screen, it would be like net worth, lifetime value, capability chart, that kind of thing. Will he like do anything for my career? It just feels that way.
Then let's have that conversation. Pete Davidson is got a couple of movies under his belt. He's got a Netflix special. So he's not hurting by any stretch. He's on SNL. They do not make that much money. And he's famous right now, which means he should be able to keep that going. But we're talking about somebody that was betting Kanye, who's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson is literally like dating the guy that cleans windows at the Tim Hortons.
No, I think you're looking at it wrong, because I think he's on his upswing in fame. And so I think it will last like 6 months to a year, but she gets to remain sort of in the spotlight, because there are certain like cycles that celebrities kind of go through who's hot right now. That doesn't mean that they're rich, but if they're hot right now, then your stock goes up if you date them, or it levels the same level that you are. Like you won't drop because he's already got the spotlight on him. And you do that she's done it. They have all done it. What is their track record is that, you know what I mean? That's what they do.
I don't know if this is that though, James. I understand what you're saying. And maybe I get that her mind works that way. I honestly think she's just having fun. She's at the fuck around stage of her relationship. Yeah. She knows that Pete's not going to be around long. He doesn't last more than 6 months in any of these relationships. He's going to.
Well, now that I know about the 10 inches, you might be.
And he's going to make his way over to Taylor Swift next, right?
What's that, Bonzarelli? What'd you say?
His hit list is amazing. So she's like, let's go have fun with Pete Davidson. I've heard he's got a schlong, and he's been with some pretty hot
Ariana Grande, Kaya Gerber, Larry David's daughter, Kate Beckinsale, and now Kim Kardashian. All in the last
Crawford's
2 years.
Daughter.
That's Kaya Gerber, 18, 19 now.
Gerber.
Yeah.
Following in the footsteps of DiCaprio. DiCaprio's laundry list is insane.
No, but he's going the other way. This is the thing. DiCaprio never went deep into the 40s. He was always in the 20s, sometimes late teens, and it was creepy. And
he
weird.
likes
Ashton Kutcher is his sensei, is what you're saying.
But exactly.
If they're 25, he moves them out.
Forget it. Too
on
old.
their 25th birthday, he cashes them in. No, he's being compared more to what was the guy?
Derek Jeter? Is that one? Because he's got a pretty good list of women.
No. Dean, help me out here. Dated Madonna. Big in the 80s. He just was a whore. He slept with everybody.
Sean Penn?
No. God damn it.
Singer or actor?
Madonna. Male whore?
Male whore. Male whore.
Singer or actor?
Did like
Charlie
not Charlie Sheen, son of a bitch. Yeah, fuck. What's his name?
Dennis Rodman?
Older guy?
Dick Tracy.
Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty.
He's being compared to Warren Beatty because Warren didn't have any age limit either. And the problem with that comparison is that Warren Beatty was, he was a good looking man. Like Pete Davidson is just like
he looks like a squeegee kid, for fuck's sake.
He's a squeegee kid. He is a squeegee kid. That's the better analogy of it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fucking dating a squeegee kid. But I'm telling you, the reason why he's doing this is because in the age gap of like 20 to 30-year-old men are all looking for 40-year-old chicks now. The entire script is flipped. The entire and listen, I was like that like 20 years ago, and I used to say this all the time. I had a motto, and I lived by it. It was 20 over 40. And I still feel that, 40 over 20. And I still feel that way. 40 over 20 all day. 40 over 20 all day, ladies. And this is the kind of stuff that happens. So she's getting a very decent rogering from a young man that has the ability to deliver the goods. And I think
have
that's what this is all about.
Who's a woman who is, how old is she? She's like, I think she's like 45, 46, something like that. And we were having a conversation about, because she met this guy that's a little younger, and I said, hey, was he fuckable? Did you take him home and bang the shit out of him? And she's like, nah, too young. So women have a different kind of a mentality sometimes. Like
depends on the woman.
I just thought that was interesting because she was being judgmental about his lack of experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people
like,
I don't want to fuck around. I don't want to train a guy. I want somebody who's a little bit older.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying to someone the other day. I was talking to someone about this, and they're like, because there's this vision of someone in my brain that I have to be with, someone that's actually quite kind, someone that's very nice, and someone who's in her like early 40s, late 30s, and they're like, well, why do you put so many parameters on? I'm like, listen. And here's the truth. Like I watch Kim, and all these different, celebrities, date, and then 5 minutes later, like J-Lo, she's married to A-Rod for like 5 minutes, and boom, she's back with Ben Affleck. And I'm like, fuck, everybody, take a break, because the idea, literally, and I said this to someone last night, the idea of bringing another person into my day just to interrupt what I'm doing doesn't sit well with me.
The way you talk about relationships, it's
not great.
You know what? There's Jennifer Lopez. There's a perfect example of where my head's at, right? Like, I have never, ever been attracted to Jennifer Lopez until the last couple of years. I think that woman, since she's hit 50, has hit her stride.
Way hotter. Yeah, big
way
Look
hotter.
At Jennifer Aniston and how hot she is still. She was hot
I've
before,
always
but
had a thing for Jennifer Aniston, though.
Right up there, still, dude.
Yeah, big time. Joan Collins, 91. Ooh.
The corpse of Joan Rivers.
Yeah. Oh, Betty. What's she up to
Her
today?
face probably still looks the same, Joan Rivers, in that
when
fucking
you're
coffin.
blowing out those 93 candles, Betty, come over.
Yeah, I stop at 55, by the way.
Have you,
I've got something wrapped for you.
Would you do Betty White though if she was right there and she was good to go? Would you do?
Oh, she's a fucking saint, Bonzi. I can't even believe you're bringing this up.
What if you killed her? Like,
maybe she's still a goer. Who knows? Maybe she likes it still.
Maybe that's what it is for them. Maybe that's
I'm on Bonzi's side on that. That's a great story in the bar. You're never gonna believe this.
Also, I got
you guys ever seen Hot
into
in Cleveland?
Betty White at bingo. The next thing you know, we're on my bus and I'm banging the shit out of her in Arizona.
And I broadcast the sex live without her knowing on my podcast.
Then I called her a bitch, and her husband came and started banging at my bus door. Said he's
and I was like, "What's your problem, husband? I'm just trying to do a show."
It was only a joke.
Content. It's content. I was joking.
Just trying.
I did say all
to
that
get
with a
some
smile on my
content for the Dean Blundell podcast.
Then he tells Dean,
I
don't know, man.
Betty.
I don't know if you're going to believe this, Dean, but I just fucked Betty White on my bus, and there's a senior citizen in his wheelchair, but he's banging his cane against the bus door, and I just don't know what to do.
Get out here
like, why
right
don't you
now,
just go
Shaggy.
out there, smack him upside the head, and tell him to fuck off? He's 110 years old.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've done some good work, and I feel like we've figured out a bunch of stuff today. 40 over 20. Betty White's too old. Let's get away from
Unless
that.
you're Bonzi.
Unless you're Bonzi, then he's right in
He's
there.
going to bang her.
Well,
it's been a while, boys. You know.
I said it's the 2-finger cul-de-sac, Betty.
Anyway, she'd just be appreciative, I bet. Thanks, guys, for doing this. Really appreciate it. That is James DiFiore, Blackball the podcast. Blackballmedia.ca is where you can find him. Bonzi Live. He's in Arizona. He is on the bus. I love you, brother. It's so good to see you. He's on the run from a cop named Reggie in L.A. But he's fine. Yeah. Are you coming home? Is that the deal? Coming home soon?
Yeah, I'm coming home soon.
Did you check your bus for trackers? Underneath,
Bonzi,
with that mirror that they use at the UN,
I swear to God, this is an invite. If you want to spend a month, a week, 2 weeks, if you want to stay in Edmonton, I got a room for you. Stay at my place.
I appreciate the offer, Locke.
He's already
coming home soon. Within the next 2, we'll leave probably a window of 2 to 3 weeks. I'll be home, so maybe even less.
Stay with Jimmy. Be good.
You don't know. It smells in
you
there.
don't want to stay in the Dennis.
No, it's so.
I'm going to need lots of time to prepare my wife. So if this is something that's going to happen, you're going to need to give me a little time to.
Army Chris just fired in from Fire Effect podcast. He's like, he's covered. Army Chris offered him a place to live for a couple of months, which I told him probably wasn't a great idea.
Well, the only problem with that is I don't necessarily think you're going to escape staying with Army Chris and not drinking.
That's my biggest fear is I know if I don't have the booze around, if it's not available, I have a way better chance of not drinking. If it's there and I'm seeing somebody swill it back, fucking hour after hour after hour, I'm gonna probably partake in
Bonzi,
the
I
drinking festivities.
totally get it. Like when I used to do cocaine and wanted to stop, for some reason, whenever there was a pile of coke in front of me, I couldn't stop. So what I did was I stopped having coke in front of me. I get it.
I moved to Killaloo.
Yeah,
There's no coke in Killaloo.
how I
You hear what Bonzi just said? Bonzi's like, yeah, guys, I've got a drinking problem and don't want to drink. So if there's no booze around, I probably won't drink, right? Like, yeah.
Not unless you're Jesus.
Honestly, I would help you in that regard. I would do my best to keep the booze out of the house. And I swear to God, I'm not
Army
doing that.
Chris has already weighed in. He's like, no, not if you're going to quit drinking. You can't stay here.
You can't stay with
He's the
Army
most
Chris.
honest motherfucker ever. Seriously.
No, it wouldn't be healthy for Army Chris
Yeah,
to
don't do it.
quit. The last time he quit, most miserable dick I've ever met in my life. So he was just awful. We were all begging him to start again.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Nothing like begging a guy to start drinking again because he's a
15
fucking-
years ago, Lachlan, you would have been like, James, I've been worried about you. Here's an 8-ball and some lotion. Goodbye.
Dude, I remember when I tried to quit smoking once, when I was like in my mid-30s. I was like smoking too much, and I stopped smoking for like 3 weeks. And my ex-wife came in the house with a carton of cigarettes and threw them at me. She's like, "Here, fucking knock yourself out. You're an asshole." I'm like,
Wow.
"Thanks."
A friend of mine was he was
I'm
trying
not
to
gonna
get his
call her a name.
girlfriend. A friend of mine was trying to get his girlfriend was trying to get him. He was trying to get his girlfriend to quit, and he was a dick about it. His name is Scott Fraser, and they didn't date long, and we went out for dinner, and there was a bunch of us out for dinner, and they were fighting all night, and I'm like, we're on our way out, and I'm like, Scott, what the fuck's going on? Like, why is she? She's trying to quit smoking. I've been trying to get her to quit smoking, and it's not going well. And they fought all night. Okay.
Yeah.
He calls me the next day and he goes, I'd leave her. She almost killed me. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, she almost killed you? Like, I knew you were fighting, but I didn't think it was that bad. So they went home. He passed out on the bed, and she went into the bathroom, grabbed all her Nicoderm patches, slapped the whole box on him.
That's dangerous, no?
And he woke up, and he was, I don't know how long he was, but it almost killed him. He had to go to the hospital.
Sounds nice.
It's attempted murder.
Other problems other than
When he woke up, they broke up. When he woke up, she was sitting on the
Shocking.
edge of the bed going, I've decided to not quit smoking. And he looked and he goes, what are these? She goes, that's all my nicotine patches. And then he ran to the bathroom, started throwing up, and then had to get himself to the hospital.
She's the one that got away with attempted murder.
Shit.
yeah. It's just keep smoking if that's you. Don't worry about it. And go get counseling for all the other shit, too. Anyway, that is James DiFiore. That is Bonzi. Check him out. Tripping with Bonzi on YouTube. At Bonzi
Bye,
Live.
guys.
He's in Arizona. Love you, baby. That is Bonzi. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM. See you, buddy. This is where you can find him.
That was
His
awesome,
morning
guys.
show is Bananarama. You can check it out. There he's gone. And Bonzi, appreciate you, brother. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me, pal. It's always
Okay,
fun.
bud. We'll talk to you soon, brother. That's it for us. Getting dark in here. Forgot to put on the lights. That's why I look like I'm in a sex den. Thanks to our friends at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. Go to Easy Auto Financial today, and they will get you a car and financing for free. No obligation. Go to easyautofinancial.ca. Also, if you're feeling plucky and you like to produce content like we do and you want to save a ton of time, like hours, go to domination.com, man. It is getting dark. DMNTN.com. And try them out today, too. Easy to make content with these guys. 72 pieces in like 5 minutes. Saves you like hours of your time if you're producing promos. And don't forget our friends over at Ed's Fine Imports. Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. They are the best underwear on the planet, guys. Trust me. You'll love them. The Gitch that Ed has, he'll sell you. And he'll give you a free pair, too. If you send him a promo code, he's got a promo code. Just type it in when you go to edsfineimports.com. Order 3 pairs. He'll send you the 4th for free. Tons of colors. Gitch3 is your promo code. Again, luxury branded underwear, the best in Canada, Canadian made. edsfineimports.com. Promo code Gitch3. Have a great day. See y'all soon. I got to go to the bathroom, and I got to make dinner. Bye.